First off, I want to point out that while these are my thoughts after having watched the Ultimate Cut, it is not a comparison like I intended it to be. There's just honestly not much difference between this and Theatrical. People said, oh, it's a different movie, but they just don't remember what was in the Theatrical. With that being said, I will just point out anything new I noticed. Anatoly smiles when Superman destroys the CIA missile to cover everything up. He smiles because it means that Lex's plan is going in motion. But how did they know that the general's men wouldn't have killed Lois? Like, literally, they were about to, but then Jimmy Olsen was there and he told them no, she's not part of it. And I don't think they knew that Jimmy Olsen was gonna be there, right? Otherwise, if he wasn't there, then they would have killed Lois. And if they would have killed Lois, then, I guess what? Lex just, since he knows that Lois is Superman's, I guess Lex would be satisfied with that still. Because if it brings Superman over to the edge, the more the merrier, I guess. Although this entire scene, I don't really understand the terminology behind it. Like the CIA, and there was the Team Python, and I don't remember what Jimmy Olsen was called. I don't really understand who the other Team Python is, why they were like throwing the middle finger at the CIA's drone when it was coming around. I guess because they wanted to help the people, right? But then the CIA was like, no, you gotta back out for some reason. I didn't understand that part too much. The Clark reporter scenes were actually a really cool part of this Ultimate Edition, particularly this scene, because it gives Clark like more agency, and yeah, it's just great. We barely got to see Henry Cavill do anything, so it's cool to see these scenes.
Only people scared of him, people who got reason to be.
I love this scene because the lady, when she says that, it's like, it reminds you of kind of like the Netflix Marvel shows where they were like very grounded, and the heroes dealt with like these people, the poor people. It wasn't like big city level threats,
Well, there's a new kind of mean in him. He is angry and he's hunting.
This man's an artist, literally and figuratively, because he draws the bat symbol from a scratchy thing. Like, what?
Benefit for the Library of Metropolis. Someone on the committee requested that Clark Kent cover it.
So I just realized that Lex is the one that invites Clark to the Library of Metropolis charity event. It's interesting because I wonder how Lex even found out that Clark was Superman. Hey, Telemundo shout out. I gotta say, the Bruce Batsuit stare down has full Sigma male grind set energy. So a scene exclusive to this edition is the Martha and Clark phone call. Now, I like this scene because seeing scenes between Martha and Clark is always a win, but I kind of wish that Martha actually explained to Clark how hard it was. Basically, Clark calls Martha and he's worried. He just wanted to talk. He's like, hi, I'm having a hard time. I wish things were how you guys lived, in the farm. It was very simple. And then she tells him things were never so simple. And I wish, just like how Jonathan Kent on the mountain gave Clark an example, I kind of wish Martha gave him an example in her own way. Maybe a difficulty that they faced. But yeah, it always seems simpler from the child's perspective because they were cared for by the parents. The parents did the heavy lifting. Okay, so this means that the first guy we see get branded, and the one that causes Alfred to find out later, that was only the first one that got to the news. It's not the first one that was branded. There was 18 people branded in the past month. And another thing exclusive to this Ultimate Edition is we find out that Lex orchestrated those very deaths. The criminals who are branded by the Bat to die in prison, which is pretty interesting because it's so Lex kind of wants to further make Bruce mad by because maybe he knows that Bruce doesn't kill. And wait, so why was Bruce even branding them in the first place? I don't get it. If Bruce knew that branding them sent them to their deaths, why did Lex kill that guy then? It's funny, when Flash shows up in the nightmare sequence, Bruce wakes up twice, literally. Batception up in here.
A man like that, words don't stop it. You know what stops him? A fist.
This is also exclusive to the Ultimate Edition, basically further cementing Clark to actually fight Batman. And it's interesting because in the beginning of the fight, I was always like, why does Clark just push Batman? But I guess this explains why. Part of him does think that he has to use force against someone like Batman. Another thing exclusive to the Ultimate Edition is the lady from the village, the first one that shows up at the Capitol and she was like, yeah, all we saw was scorched bodies, all we saw was, we heard like a sound from the sky and people dying, my parents died. Well, it turns out she was lying, she was being paid by Lex. That's what we find out in the Ultimate Edition. She was being paid by Lex, and later Lex was gonna kill her. She was on the bus and Anatoly was there at her asking the blind man where she was. Just another example of Lex discarding anyone around him, especially Mercy when he blows her up at the Capitol. It's moments like these that when you really understand Lex's plan, and when you begin to understand how he's literally behind everything, like so many little details in the movie that he's behind that I didn't know in the first watch, is when you begin to understand that this is like the perfect Lex. You know, they wrote him very well, despite Zuckerberg-esque take on Lex. Obviously not Jesse's fault, that's the writing, but the point is that the character of Lex is there. You just have to search for it. Also, on this second watch, I realized that Bruce actually thinks that the checks where it says you let your family die are actually from Wallace. This has a double meaning. The first one is that Bruce sees it as guilt. It's like, wow, I let my employees die. I let everyone in Wayne Tower die. I let my family die. Not necessarily his parents, but the employees that he had in Metropolis. Because if he thinks it's one from Wallace, then that's the guilt that he feels. The second emotion that Bruce feels is just the recurring trauma of his family. You let your family die, it's his parents. It's pretty obvious. So one thing I didn't talk about in the original video, I want to talk about here. The armor, the batsuit, the glowing eyes they're so cool. Like, I look at the context for this movie and I don't really point them out too much, but they work. They don't look goofy. I mean, he looks a little cute, to be honest. Like, he looks cuter. He doesn't look scary like the original suit. But hey, man, it works. Like, it works. I love it. I love the glowing eyes. And honestly, look, we loved it when Bale used detective mode and he had the glowing eyes. We loved in the Arkham games when you had the glowing eyes when you also used detective mode. And we loved it here. Now, imagine if DCU Batman had glowing eyes all the time. You might be saying, all the time? That's gonna get a little weird. Well, let's see. Here he had them all the time. I know it's an armored batsuit. Another example, the Telltale Batman batsuit. That batsuit had glowing eyes all the time, and it worked. It looked great. I don't care if it's a little animated, little like that. If this was live action, it would look so great, especially because Telltale, the stories were so good and the characters were so real. I think that if you were to take Telltale's level of understanding of these characters, of Gotham City, of these characters, and you were to add glowing eyes, you would just come out of the theater like, the story was great, Batman was great. Who cares about the glowing eyes? And comic fans like us will be like, yes. So this shot when Superman kills Doomsday is actually, I don't know if it's on purpose, but it looks like the fallen angel. You see this with like Anakin Skywalker as well. But it's interesting they use it for Superman here because it takes a bit more of a literal interpretation. It's not really a good person falling from grace. It's kind of like this angel literally dying. Also, Steppenwolf, oh my gosh, dude, I forgot that he was in this movie. Wow, he looks really cool too. I mean, I like that they humanized him more with the puppy eyes in Justice League, but he looks cool here. Although, why did they make like the people of Apocalypse and the other place, New Genesis or something? Gosh, I forgot. They made him look so like dark. I don't know, I would prefer if they would look more human. Alright, final scene I want to talk about. So, this is also a scene that's purely exclusive for the Ultimate Edition. Lex is in prison. The lights go out and Batman shows up. My question is like, how did Batman orchestrate this? These like people that work there, these like guards, they tell Lex to turn around and then the lights go off and they're just gone. Like, what? Did Bruce oh there it is. Bruce just bribed them, I guess. But it's pretty funny to imagine like Batman was just in the restroom or something and then he comes out real quickly. I don't know. Or oh no, maybe he was in the ceiling. Yeah, but like, something that he tells Lex is like, I'm gonna take you to Arkham Asylum. I've got friends expecting you there. I've still got friends expecting you there. It's still meaning that, dang, did like other criminals die? Like Two-Face and Riddler, did those guys like die? because we don't really see them in the DCEU, so they probably died. But also, what does he mean by expecting? Does he mean like Joker and like, I don't know, what villains are even alive in the? Does that just mean like, I don't know, they're gonna like mess up Lex or something? Whew, all right. Well, this was Injustice, Josh. That was Batman v Superman. I tackled this movie. Pretty interesting movie. It's people love it, people hate it. I don't know. I think it's well executed, but you need to watch it under a certain emotion. Like it's if you're depressed, if you're angry, if you're just confused, it's very good for you. But if you need a little bit more hope, which the movie does have hope, but if you need like something a bit simpler, like most people do, then obviously Justice League is around the corner, which I'm actually looking forward to. So, but actually Suicide Squad is next, and that should be fun. I actually liked Suicide Squad when it came out. I thought it was pretty cool. There's the regular version, and then there's the extended cut. I thought the score was good in the movie, but there's the extended cut. It's like 13 minutes longer. I don't know what. I didn't even know there was an extended cut. I don't know why they made that, but it's there. Am I gonna watch both? You know what? I have the time. I have too much time on my hands. So yeah, I probably will. But that'll be in the same video. It won't be like 2 videos like Batman v Superman. So, well, that was it. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. So